Picture, if you will, a spring night in the year 1954. All appears quiet, yet sleep does not come easily to this rural community. Tales of an ape-like creature lurking in a nearby creek bottom occupy their restless thoughts. A bump in the night, a door creaking in the distance, and sleep slides anxiously away. A lone resident clips the latest news of the beast. But is the creature a strange delusion? Or does a fantastic monster stalk this peaceful landscape?
Welcome back to KGMC's Evening Show. Tonight we're joined by local residents Frank Barton, Warren Jump, and Tom Sliger. These three reputable men recently reported seeing a grotesque ape man south of Denver near Plum Creek. Mr. Barton, could you kindly tell us what you observed?
Well, it was last Tuesday, about 10 a.m. Me, Buck, and Tom here were about to set out along Plum Creek catching bullfrog pollywogs for bait.
That's right. We met over on Enlow Wilkinson's property first. It was Buck Jump here who saw it first.
Well, just before the other guys arrived, I saw what I thought was a bear go down to the water for a drink. So I went over to the Wilkinsons and borrowed their binoculars. And as we walked along the creek, we kept our eyes out for it.
Then I saw this shadow moving among the trees. We moved in for a closer look. And at first, I thought it was a large man moving through the brush.
Well, we got to within about 400 feet of that old Indian hill by the river. And then this creature jumps out on top of it and starts swinging a chicken around and flinging it above its head.
You know, at first I thought it might be a farmer, upset, somebody killing his chickens. Once I got a better look, I ain't no farmer.
We edged a little closer, and I just couldn't believe my eyes.
Started doing this voodoo ceremony thing, you know, flinging the chicken up in the air and wringing its neck.
What about the creature's appearance? Could it have been an ape or a gorilla or something?
Well, I've never seen a gorilla, except in pictures. But even then, I know there's no way that was a gorilla.
Well, one look at that face was enough for me. It walked like a man and acted like an animal, but had the face of neither. Tom here got a good look at it through his own eyes.
Can you describe for our listeners what you saw?
Well, it was peering through the brush, had this sickening-looking green face on it with a mouth about 4 inches long. Looked like one of them terrible Halloweeny masks or something.
Could it have been a man?
Well, maybe. It moved like one, I guess. Well, except when it left the hill, it broke up some big branches that'd be hard for a man to do. I mean, it was smashing up billets of wood like jackstraws.
Where did this occur exactly?
Well, it was next to the Wilkinsons' place. Right there along Plum Creek, about 6 or 7 miles south of Littleton.
After the monster disappeared, we talked about it for a little bit, and then Tom went to the Wilkinsons' house to call the sheriff. Buck and I stayed there by the creek to keep an eye out for it.
Should we go up there and check it out?
So I went back to Mary Wilkinson's place. She let me in, and we called Pat Patterson, the undersheriff.
Well, after Pat came, we went back down and investigated. In the soft mud near Plum Creek, we saw a clear set of footprints. They were wider than a man's and maybe 14 inches long.
Were you able to track the beast?
Well, we tried, but it would take 100 men, starting at Levier's and coming both directions to flush him out. The brush is too thick in there. You could be within 3 yards of him and not see him.
I'm just glad we were together when we saw it first.
Yes, sir, if I would have seen it by myself, I think I would have come back to town and consulted with the doctor.
for a KGMC update on the monster of Plum Creek. With us is Sheriff John Hammond. Sheriff, can you tell us about this curiosity?
The footprints we found were not those of an animal. I think somebody is trying to play some tricks, or else we've got someone in on a flying saucer. There's nothing to this, but there they are, swarming all over the place and breaking down fences, trampling on private property. Someone's gonna get shot, I'm afraid.
I'll just tell you one thing. It's getting to where I'm about half afraid to go outside the house, to say nothing of the fields and the woods filled with all these people running around with their high-powered rifles.
There have been more sightings of the mysterious monster of Plum Creek. Last Saturday, an unidentified woman saw the creature in her headlights about 10 p.m. near the City Ditch Bridge. In the snow alongside the road, spectators found 4 or 5 tracks, which Tom Sliger, one of the original witnesses, said resembled those of last Tuesday. I'm just being handed this special report. Yesterday, a railroad engineer saw a strange creature between the tracks in Plum Creek. A crowd of at least 2,000 people have swarmed over North Douglas County, trying to find the fabulous monster. Reports in the Littleton Independent, Denver Post, and Rocky Mountain News describe the proliferation of rumors and stories growing by leaps and bounds. Here with us again today is Buck Jump, who first saw the creature last week. What's the situation around Plum Creek today, Buck?
Well, people everywhere are looking for the monster. In fact, one night I counted 157 cars lined up around the bridge. I don't think there's a fence left between Levere's and Littleton.
Although the mystery of the monster was never officially solved, longtime residents are certain that it was a harmless prank that got out of hand. The identity of the perpetrators? Common knowledge. Yet the details reside in local diners rather than history books.
It was nothing but a hoax, a joke that got out of hand.
But Sheriff, some people say this is a cover-up, that you really can't find the monster, and you just want people to stop looking.
I know the jokester who did it. It's a person who lives in the area, and if he does it again, well, he'll find himself in jail.
Who was it?
Now, I'm not going to say who, because it would cause too much static around the county.
Following Sheriff Hammond's assertions that the Plum Creek monster was a hoax, a variety of confessions from supposed perpetrators have surfaced. Some of these are obviously false. Others reveal specific details, lending an air of authenticity. For instance, one confession describes elaborate preparations such as breaking large sticks the day before, so that when the scene was investigated, it would appear the creature possessed superhuman strength. Rumors circulate that it was actually a woman nearby who was the perpetrator. Still others relate that Mary Wilkinson was another witness to the event last Tuesday, and the hoax was put on by a mysterious stranger. The latest speculation has a deranged inmate recently released from a Littleton jail unwittingly playing the role of the creature. This inmate was said to be seen in a green suit performing strange dances near the area of his release. But despite the many so-called confessions, alternate theories, and firm assertions from Sheriff Hammond, there are still persistent rumors of a cover-up, and that an unknown creature still lurks somewhere along Plum Creek in northern Douglas County.
Gather, dear children, upon the floor, and we'll tell you the legend of 54. How on a bright morn that spring, an apparition appeared. 'Twas called the Thing. His face, dear kids, was the color of sage, and his slobbering lips displayed his rage. He tossed a chicken high in the air and retreated to his Plum Creek lair. Rumors, dear ones, have not been at rest, though the anonymous prankster had confessed. Neighbors still ask who the monster could be, and most have concluded that he is a she. Now, whatever gave them that idea?
Well, I can't imagine.
Submitted for your approval. Half-seen shadows in the wild spaces that still border our homes. A monster lurking on the banks of Plum Creek? Perhaps the offspring of a forgotten time. Perhaps a wandering hermit. Or perhaps only a prank. In a time and space where science has yet to answer every question, it is up to you to decide.